People are crying to be heard because really it's an esteem, a desire for to be understood, to have dignity, to be valued
Hmm.
for who you are and what it is that's there. But the problem that we often have, in not just in several different movements, but in our own culture, is that we misplace the object or the pursuit that we're going after to find honor in. And Christ replaces that. How have
Hmm.
you seen Christ replace that honor? Because you tell some stories in the book, actually, of a brand new married couple, if I remember correctly, when she's doing the dishes. And just tell that story for a moment, because that really does, I think, illustrate how that was played out and how that changed for them, and how they lived out what honor meant, and they transitioned from one to the other. So talk about that for a moment.
So, one problem that followers of Jesus in the Muslim world face is there aren't a lot of them. So, finding a spouse can be difficult, a spouse who shares your faith, and that was the case in our small community. But this young couple had found each other, and they were married, and it was delightful. They were married in our home, and we had a wonderful experience with them. And sometime later, the newlyweds arrived. We met secretly for church, and people would come at different times. And eventually, everyone would be there together, and we begin. But this particular day, they came quite early, and they were just beaming, and the woman couldn't stop. She just couldn't stop smiling, and she just began talking so fast. I remember it's so much faster for her, and her husband just stood there smiling because she had a story to tell. But she said, "Guess what? Guess what? Guess what happened? Guess what happened?" She had been washing the dishes the day before, and her husband was away at work, and she dropped a glass, and it broke. And in her particular culture and country, the belief was that when you broke a glass, it would invite demons into the house. And so typically for breaking anything like that, there would be corporal punishment from the husband or the father, whoever the male, the responsible male was for that female. That's what she had seen her father do many times to her mother. And so she carefully gathered all the shards of glass in a towel. And when it was about time for her husband to come home for lunch, she sat down and put the towel and the glass bits on the table, and she just waited for her punishment. And she did not greet him at the door like she had been doing. And when he came in, he was troubled. He saw her sitting there with her eyes downcast, and he said, "What's the matter?" And she just pushed the towel close to him and said, "I broke the glass. You can beat me now." And he looked at her, and he lifted her chin, and he said, "We follow the way of Jesus now.
Hmm.
We follow the way of love.
Hmm.
I will not beat you. I am to love you as I love myself.
Hmm.
I am to love you as I love myself." And they threw the glass bits away and came joyfully and told us the story. We follow a new way now. We follow a new way.
That's
It was
incredible.
so glorious.